to Draw Cartoons with John-Marc. Hey, it's John-Marc and welcome to my series on teaching you how to draw cartoons. Today episode, I have 3 really fun lessons to share with you. I have this cute little country house, and I have a little cartoon snake, and I have a little leprechaun. So all 3 of them come uniquely different, and the third one is something special. What could it be? You're just going to have to wait to see at the very end. So if you have your paper and pencil, I think we're ready to begin the first lesson. All right, let's begin the lesson, and I'll be using my mechanical pencil and working off of an 8.5 by 11 paper. I quickly just sketched out a little horizon line, and then from there I am going to be working on the house. As you can see, it's in a perspective. So it's like a 3/4 view. I'm quickly just framing the house out. And when I'm just working here and using my imagination when playing around with the houses, you may want to drive around the neighborhood or look in some books and actually see how houses actually look and just stylize it to your style, basically. So feel free to change it as well. So what I did is I have a window on the top and 2 windows on the side and a door here. And what I mean by changing, you may want to change the shape of the actual house instead of square, maybe a little bit more letterbox. That's like a triangle shape. Feel free to change the shape of the house on the top of the roof. But now I'm just creating the little fireplace here and the little 2 smokestacks coming on this back side there. And let me just make it a little bit better on that top roof there. Okay, now, of course, houses also have mailboxes. So I'm going to continue and making a little fun little mailbox in the front. What I want you to really pay attention is this mailbox might look a little larger than what could fit in that door because that is perspective. So the elements closer to you should look larger and the elements further back should look a little smaller. So you don't want to make a small mailbox, what I'm actually trying to share. And I just can see I just added almost to the same angle as that house, intentionally doing that so you can kind of say the type of shape that I actually had. I'm sorry, this is like a little pathway over there. I'm just quickly sketching out. And what do you see on your mailbox? I actually saw like a little flag, but now I'm back onto the fence, the same thing. So the fence that I'm creating right now, so I'm randomly creating these little pillars. And as you get closer, I'm making them a little larger and further back. I'll make them a little smaller. And let's put the background over there quickly right there. And let's change that mailbox. And the lead I'm using is an HB, so it's a little soft. All right, let's connect the rails now to the fence. As you can see, I'm just working on just one rail at a time. There we go, and the one in the far back there. Not a double rail, but just a single rail. And as you can see, it kind of pulls you from the back of the house to coming all the way in the front of the house. That's kind of line that creativity wise that actually pulls your eye to that first one right here and pulls you right around the house. So having something standing out like that is a nice way of grabbing your eye and let your eye follow that fence. And a little darker there, shading, and I'm going to just create like the rail a little bit open there, the back there. That's looking good. I like that. All right, back on the roof. I'm going to go a little heavier on there again. Now this is almost like step 2 that I normally share at time to time, where I go very quickly with my lead, or if I have my blue lead as well. And I'm just creating like the little housing for the window. That's looking good right now. I like that. A little bit like, put like a little cross beam in the middle there. And I'm just going to shade. So that'd be all glass right there. And let's get the bottom. This is going to be like an inside, so a little shading in there. So the window is a little bit further in, and just like, all right, the awning on the side there, and the bottom. All right, that looking good. A little bit heavier, as you can see. There we go. On the bottom there, this is going to be like really thick. And I'm the little one over there, a little line there. And this is the inside, so I'm shading that a little bit more. So that's the house, the roof, and the house is right here on the side. You can even change the texture of the house. What the texture is? It made out of wood, shingle, stone? I'm just going to leave mine maybe just as like if it was made out of like a big plaster Paris or one piece of wood. All right, again, the door. I like round doors instead of square. Sometimes square is fine, but in this case, I thought it'd be kind of fun. Let's make it like an oval window right there, like a peek through, shading that inside there a little bit. And now I'm just creating some wood grain, giving some texture to that wood and shading inside that door. And I'll match the underneath the part of that roof there. There's one in the window. There's a two. Let's make it a little thicker. And the same thing, leave a little crosshatch window panes in there. All right, there. Let's get right where the shadow might be. I'm just giving that's a little shadow indication there, and let's make it a little heavier, a little bit shady on that side. Yeah, that's looking good. All right, all right. You know what? Let's shade this all the way in a little bit more because that's a little bit more of a shadow. So the sun would be coming more from the right-hand side, and this would be on the left-hand side where the sun is not hitting. Sometimes you may want to put an arrow or a little light bulb on the area where the light is coming down so that you can easily remember where the shadow is. A little bit darker there. All right. And again, just remember, this is just a sketch. Nothing's perfect 100%. I'm just making little shrubs here. Again, just really, really quick. Little English boxwood, maybe. All right, little flower here and there. What's on your garden? How do you see this? Is this in a tropic area or is this in like a country setting? You can make palm trees or you could turn it into a desert or it could be even a cityscape or like an urban where there's more houses next to each other. For me, right now, I'm just making the country, so I'm having the tree in the background, really, really quick, the little ovals, just to stylize in that part there. That's looking good. Little tree in the background. So you can don't always have them side by side. Have things overlapping. Kind of gives you that depth. All right, another little one here, and that's way in that background there. And I'm going to shade that one. So there's like three trees here, two small ones and a big one in the middle. Here's a fireplace, the top. I'm just going to shade that top part there again because of the lighting. I'm figuring it's coming from the far right and a little bit over here in this little smokestacks. All right, a little darker as you can see, and a little bit darker. So now this is again where I go a little harder and I actually have the tone that I like of the pencil. So I play around with that little shadow in there. Okay, let's work on that hill. You know what? Let's add another tree in the background, a little further away than that first one, another one in the distance. And I'm just going to shade like halfway underneath around it. That looking good. I like that. All right, let's add another little one in the back. You could have like animals in the background if you want to have cows or chickens or pigs, whatever. And let's work on this little mailbox. All right, I'm just going to write U.S. Postal Service. All right, and the flag on the side there. Don't know if the mailman came or not because it's like kind of an angle. But hey, you can use your imagination. Leave the mailbox open. Have a whole bunch of letters sticking out there if you want to. Or you can put a package next to the mailbox as well too. All right, I'm just going to shade this in underneath there. The little wooden pole holding it up. And a little bit underneath there lightly. There we go. All right, a little bit darker there. Let get that. Let the ground. Okay, this is the pathway. As you can see, coming towards you right now. So it's narrow in the front and it comes wider as it gets again. That's that perspective to lead your eye to the door there. I'm just creating little bumps here. So this is like a dirt pathway. Yours may be a sidewalk or it could be just like with stone pathways as well. And I'm going to shade a little bit on the side of the fence here. Again, on the far left. That's looking better. I like that. Little grass coming out the side here or rocks here and there. Randomizing them a little bit here and there. All right. And a little bit shading for the mailbox. As you can see, the shadowing on there. And okay, let's get the little bigger rock here and some grass. All right, that's looking good. I think we're almost done. You know what? Let's get some lines in top of that roof there. If it was like shingles, and just give that illusion right now on the top of the awning there. That's looking nice as well. All right. Yeah, you know what? Let's change it and make it as if it did have shingles. So I'm just going to go straight across. Little shingles there, left and right. All right. I like that little angling it out. Kind of gives you that illusion. That's on the other side. Yep. I think this is perfect. I hope you really practice a little bit with the sketching technique that I did there. Hey, now that was a fun lesson on teaching you how to use your imagination and draw that little cartoon house. And what did you learn? A little bit about perspective, depth maybe. You have a foreground, midground, background, maybe the type of scenery you changed. Whatever you did, using your imagination and sketching is all that I want to really emphasize on all my episodes. So if you like this lesson, stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to my show and teaching you how to draw cartoons. The next lesson is going to be on this cute little cartoon snake. Snake? I'm not a fan too, but you know what? It's going to be a cute one. Use your imagination. What could be different? Maybe you have 2, 3 snakes. Maybe you have changed the shape of the face. Change it to your style, but practicing that light and going a little bit heavier at the next step is what I really want to emphasize on today's lesson. So, if you have your paper and pencil, I think we're ready to begin the next lesson. I'll be using an HB pencil with a standard 8.5 by 11 paper. So as you can see right now, I'm just sketching out simply the head, a little circle and for the little mouth area, and I have the crosshair, which is great again to remember to help you to know where the eyes, nose, and ears. Well, snakes don't got any ears, but you know what I mean. So I'm working quickly in the back, and I'm creating some areas of interest of overlapping the lines. So the lines are not straight connecting to give that movement of a snake's body, as you can see there. And I'll get more in depth with that when I get a little bit tighter and tighter. But right now, let's get back to the little sketching. And this is considered step number 1. Let's break out his tongue. There, I'm going to give a little overlapping curve. It's not totally straight, just give a little curve, little movement. And the eyes, I'm going to make him very expressional, so he's going to be really wide. So you can make him angry if you wanted to. Change it, use your imagination, as I always share. But also, I just want to be sharing with you just my technique. Doesn't have to be your technique. You can change it up and be very creative. So I just made simple eyes, and now I'm coming back there, give a little cheek. I'm going to be coming around here for his mouth and nose and try to give that dimension. I'm going to show with some lines later on to give that indication there. Coming back a little harder now, slower with the pencil. Coming back down to the body and giving the outline. So as you can see, that this is not that hard, but it is a very interesting perspective. You see the front of his face, 3/4 shot, and then the back going in the distance. So the illustration isn't so flat. You're giving it some dimension. That's something to think about. And coming back to get the loop right there in the front, on the bottom there, the little buddy snake there. And now his belly. Now this will be a fun thing. Now watch what I do here. The curve, I'm going up, but now when I got closer to the bottom, I curved a little bit underneath it, changing the 3-dimension right there on his mouth too. Those curves there, that gives that whole dimension. So it's not flat lines. You're actually indicating to help form what the snake actually looks like. And as the eyes, the top of his eyebrow, I'm giving him really big. The other eye you barely see because it's a 3/4 view shot, shading the top eyebrow because that's on the further side. And his cheek there, that's his far away cheek. And that's the closer one to us right now. Let's add some little freckles on our little snake here. Coming across there, and you can see how the dimension is. I can actually see it'd be a real fun to ink and color in. Now, you can put fun patterns on here. Be creative. I'm just making little stripes on there. You can put hearts. You can make happy faces on there what you want to, or make a different pattern altogether. Be creative. I always say, use your imagination. Don't always copy what you see, but be more standing out. There we go. So I'm going to do a little simple shading. I drop the brush, the pencil down, so I get the side of the actual lead, not the front, the tip of it. I'm just going to do a real quick little pathway and some background to give some motion and some just an interesting area. Let's create some landscaping. Quick little rocks, nothing major or anything. Just giving a little shadows here and there. I'm going to make some grass, big rocks and small grass. Now we're going to have the foreground, midground, and the background. You'll see. So that kind of brings this little into shape. This is almost like a one-point perspective. Okay, quick little rocks over there. This is just a sketch, nothing more detailed whatsoever. Quick grass blades, really tall. So when I say sketching, this is just to help get your thoughts out. And if you like what you sketched out, you may want to go a little further and create more detail. Like one of my other lessons I have is actually bringing it on the computer and coloring it and inking it. That you'll see at another time. But for now, this is just a simple little sketch, little snake. All right, let's color in his little tail there, the tip there. That's looking good. Let's get some more, the stones a little bit darker. I come down a little harder with my brush here, my pencil, but I normally don't go very hard in the very beginning with the pencil. I always go very light, and I get a little bit heavier. As always, when we finish our picture, let's sign and date it and share with your family and friends. Hey, you gotta admit, that was a cute little cartoon snake, wasn't it? What did you do different? Change the expression? Maybe your style? Or you added some cute little buddies to hang out with him? Maybe it was the background. Did you learn something about the sketching? And did you see how the shape he was in the perspective? All that I want to really teach you is how to draw more and practice using your imagination. So if you enjoyed the first and the second one, wait till you see the third one. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to my show and teaching you how to draw cartoons. Now this lesson, the third and final one, is going to be just a little different. If you have a paper and pencil, that's great. But if you have a tablet, a stylus, that's what's different about this one. I actually did it on my computer. So you're not going to see the paper and pencil. You're going to see me drawing on my computer. Well, actually the crosshair you're going to see, not me. But if you are excited on how to learn the techniques by doing traditionally is key to becoming better to go digital. So starting on digital before pencil and paper, I wouldn't recommend doing paper and pencil and going digital. That's the way of doing it. So if you're ready, let's begin the next lesson. For this lesson, I'm going to be working off of my stylus and drawing on my computer. All right, so today's lesson, I'm going to be playing around with a little character, a leprechaun. That's right. No, not him at all. I just created this one up myself right now. Anyways, so what you're going to be learning is techniques on sketching. Now, what I just did here is I might have had a model sheet that I worked off of, or sometimes I might just use my imagination and just play around with, or I'll have several drawings, and this could be like the second, third, or the 50th version of a character or an illustration I'm working on. There's no rhyme or reason why this has to always be the first one that I sketch. Actually, this was actually like the third one. I was just warming up and trying to figure out what to do. So in this case, I felt comfortable with this one when I was working on it. So this is why I am sharing my third version, not my first. But yes, this was working off of my creativity and what I had in my mind, what a little leprechaun might look like. All right, so as you can see, as I am sketching, and the purpose of the very beginning conversation and the thought was you may not have any references to work off. So you're going to have to play around with your imagination, your creativity. That's what sketching is all about. You really don't know how, like the little nose is. I just angled it a little bit more because of the smirk I'm going to get. I'm used circular eyes. Well, maybe I could use more bolder eyes or more realistic eyes. Well, I just chose simpler ones right now. It's not right or wrong. But when sketching, not only knowing that this is just a quick thumbnail or a quick idea, it's not the finish yet. It possibly could be the one that you would turn into a final illustration or a product or a storyboard or character, whatever you're working on. And again, when you're doing animation, when you're sketching, this is how you get the best style of animation, traditional animation, I say, for 2D, not the 3D. And when you're doing storyboards, they're even sketchier than this. They're just trying to get their point across so that when you're representing your company, or if you're doing whatever you're working on, that you can quickly come out with some visualization that your thoughts are coming out. So storyboards are sometimes really quick, and then they go tighter, of course, and then you have the layout and so forth. There's more to go in that, but not to lose track of the little leprechaun here. All that I'm really sharing is how I am sketching. As you can see here, I have like a light, and then I'll come back a little heavier. I laid in shapes where blocked in like the little clover is on the top of his hat, is just like ovals, and then I'll come back and I'll just turn them more into a shape of a clover. So you don't really have to draw that clover right away. Just position there, because you may like, should be a 3-leaf clover or a 4-leaf clover. Well, I chose a 3. And in that case, now I'm working on the little buckle behind his hat, and then kind of like that ribbon that's on his hat. I could have made his hat really square. I could have made it extremely big and tall, or kind of really goofy looking. I could have had a lot more hair on him and move it up. So when sketching, these are the things that you're thinking of. So if it's not the complete version that you like this one for instance, I can say, okay, keep it to the side and redraw it really quickly and change maybe the shape of the head, maybe the shape of the hat, or even the little pot where the gold is where he's sitting in. So by sketching, you're not locked into a final illustration. You can quickly change that on with another illustration quickly. So you're not spending hours on it. It's like, oh, I did so much drawing on this, I can't change it because I spent so much time on it. As fast as you're seeing I'm doing it right now, that's how fast I could do multiples. So right now we're looking at almost almost 4 minutes right now or so that I've been drawing this illustration. But I'm going slower now because I'm trying to find out some more detail and more visualization on the illustration. So like I'm putting more coins in the back, I'm shading them, giving them 3-dimensional feel to it. I could have had some coins on the bottom falling out. I didn't do that. Add a rainbow or more clovers on and around the bottom of the pot. Any of these things you can easily do with another sketch. So when you're showing some illustrations, like if you're doing a children's book, you might have to sketch multiple samples out just to show your client the concept that you're coming out with. So sketching is something I want you to really warm up to and feel comfortable with. And the better the sketching you do, the more practice you get. So sketch minimum 30 plus minutes a day, and you'll get better, whatever you can pick up on. As you can see here, I just threw some background in there, some little bushes and shrubs, and just gave the lines in there to give some dimension. Very simple. This is no final piece of illustration. It's just a sketch. I'm putting something in that little dimensional, add another layer of in the back. I think that looks pretty good. Hey, now wasn't that a cute little cartoon leprechaun? What about that little cute little cartoon house, What about that snake? All 3 of them were uniquely different, but sketching and using your imagination is always what I want you to practice with. My website is jmg-studio.biz. I hope you enjoyed all 3 of these lessons and have a great day.